So let's start with this lovely scene and let's talk about this channel. So she
At
says
home with us. She was being homeschooled at the time. She
everything.
was making perfect grades. Let me point that out. So we were doing a really great job. Kaiser was struggling in kindergarten a little bit with his behavior, so we had to move him from one school to another.
Okay, mainly let's, without watching the whole video, she's saying that everything was fine, and then she has the sentence until
He got to see his old classmates, and he was really happy about that. We talked to Kaiser's teachers every day. We connected.
everything was great.
There was a dog incident.
The dog incident, she
So,
calls it. So listen
about
to this
Nugget,
guy.
she was, I mean, she was a loving dog to me, but she was not loving towards our kids at all. And I mean, I loved the dog. The kids loved it, but she didn't love the kids.
Okay, so you expect a dog to love your kids. All right. Let's say you expect the dog to love your kids. Fine. Let's listen to the
And
complaints.
anytime we were taking a video of the kids riding their bike, playing outside, we'd have to delete the video and not even be able to post the kids
Oh
playing with the
no.
dog because
Oh no, you couldn't post videos of a nice, happy family. But you know what you're forgetting? People don't have a memory of a goldfish. Your wife has been filmed on drugs, neglecting her children, being abusive verbally and physically to her mother. And so you're going to present like ideal family situation. You're coping, you're getting help, everything is great. The only problem is you can't post videos of a lovely family because the dog is the problem. Okay, let's see. This is called scapegoating. Scapegoating comes from a term used because of this ancient ceremony of placing blame on a goat, sacrificing an animal in order to sort of feel cleansed from all the sins of human beings. So let's see how he's scapegoating the dog. Let's listen.
the dog didn't play nice.
Oh no.
She would bite their feet. She would bite the wheels on their bicycle.
So what does a normal, even IQ, borderline IQ, I'm not talking about a genius. Your dog doesn't get along with the kids. You can't post your videos. Oh no, what a horrible thing. So what do? Let's see what he chose to do.
Like sometimes that dog would get hurt really bad because she would run up and bite the tire of their bicycle as they're riding through the yard. She would get hurt, roll over, start crying, and then go do it again.
Okay, so what does a normal borderline, let's say borderline IQ person does? Tie up the dog, give it limits, place it somewhere where it can't run after the kids, right? But no,
You know,
no, he didn't do that.
she wasn't always vicious,
Right.
but she had a lot of vicious tendencies. She
Okay.
really was kind of mean.
A mean dog.
We put up with it for a long time. I mean, you could even see there was a video of me.
Okay, so you let your dog run free after your children, and you know she bites the wheels. You know she does it, and then you let her do it again and again and again and again. You don't think of tying her up. You don't think of putting her inside the home where she can't run after the bike. So in other words, you don't give her limits, but you expect her to change her behavior without giving her any limits. Okay.
I think it's on YouTube.
So, and this is a person who we don't know that he has an IQ below like normal. So he actually expects a dog not to do the same things she does again and again without doing anything. Okay.
Tires on the four-wheeler. I couldn't even ride the four-wheeler outside without her trying to bite it.
Okay.
And she would even chase the car sometimes.
Okay. So you let her chase cars.
Bit Inslee on the face more than one time.
Okay. The first time your child gets bitten by the dog, you realize there's a big problem. You can't you can't get control because you're too busy making videos, too busy posting happy family videos on YouTube. So you don't have time to control your dog. You're too busy because you're so busy, right? Walking around with your gun, shopping and digging or whatever. So options, humane society, shelters. You know what? Even taking the dog for and putting it somewhere where it can just be in a forest would be more humane and a better solution than the following choice. And it's a choice you made. So what is in common with David and Janelle is that they're victims. It's always everybody else's fault. The dog's fault, the mother's fault. It's never their fault. And the magic word is responsibility.
And the
So,
first time it happened, we should have gotten rid of her.
right. But you
But
didn't.
we had been working with the dog. We had been trying to uh, reward her whenever she was being nice to Inslee or being nice to
Right.
Jace or Kaiser. It seemed like it was working. And so that was one of the
Well,
reasons I was taking the video.
so let's talk about truth. She bit his daughter Ensley. I don't know. She's not that old. She's a small child. Several times. So how in the world did the training help? Several
That
times.
day that Inslee got bit on the face is because we never hardly had that many good videos of the kids playing with the dog. And I wanted to have like a nice little sweet video
Oh, so
of them together.
can you believe this man? He wants to have nice videos on YouTube. So this is what the dog had to pay for that
Couch,
videos.
just watching a movie. And Inslee goes to give her a kiss on the head. That's all she does, bent down. And then
And you know this dog has bitten before. You know this dog has a problem. And you give her to a child that she's bitten before several times. And you know you had dogs before. The dogs don't view the world in the same way as human beings. And this dog obviously gets very stressed out around kids. And yet you continue to expose the dog to children.
boom, she got her on the cheek.
I've enjoyed my time here in Savannah.
Oh, girl, no. So that was like not the first time in that same day that the dog had done something of that nature.
Okay, so
So,
instead of
I took it upon myself to put the dog down.
put the dog
And
down.
that's the way my family has always done it when the
Uh-huh.
dog.
So that's what you do. That's what your family's always done. Have you heard of the law? Have you heard of humane society law, American law made to protect defenseless animals against, how can I say, subhuman excuse for human being like you? Animals have a law that protects them from people who think that shooting an animal, a domesticated animal like a dog, is the right way to handle such a situation. The right way to handle such a situation is to go to consult an expert and not to think that you, with your super intelligence, are able to handle a situation. You let that situation go on and on and on. You expose the dog that had a problem with kids, and instead of taking responsibility, just like Janelle never took responsibility and always her mother's fault, you blame the dog and then you harmed the dog. Shooting a dog is not a humane way of handling it. Otherwise, there wouldn't be a law forbidding it. When you shoot an animal, you don't kill it immediately. The animal dies a slow, painful death. And that is why it's not okay to do it. So this is why there's a law. But you broke the law and then you say, my family's always done it. God knows what else your family's always done, which is illegal. I don't even want to assume anything. But this is clearly against the law because you know it's not legal to do it, but you don't care what the law has to say, do you?
Somebody. There's been dogs in the past that bit me, and my dad put the dog down.
All right, so that's
My dad's
okay.
friend's dog bit me, and he brought the dog to my house and put it down
Put it down.
and then brought it back.
Shooting it so it dies a slow, excruciating, painful death is not putting down. You killed, murdered, cold blooded. You don't do it to a chicken. You don't do it to anything. You don't do it to anyone. But this is the way your families handle it. I understand. So you're a victim of your family because your family does things that are not okay, and you don't have the brain capacity to actually reflect the way human beings are supposed to be more intelligent, right? You're supposed to have a ability to think whether something is right or wrong. But your family's always done it. So let's say your family's always abused children, so which you probably do. Because a person who can do this to a defenseless dog, think about it. If this is how you handle animals, so they do the same thing again and again and again and again, finally you shoot it instead of finding other solutions. So Janelle brags about homeschooling, and how in the world can you give children limits when you cannot give a dog limits?
Which was kind of crazy, but it happened.
So you admit it's crazy.
I mean, a lot of people around here, if your dog goes running in their yard, they'll just shoot it. They're not going
Great.
to call you and tell you.
That's
They'll just
wonderful.
shoot it
What a
because
great
they're
neighborhood.
scared, or it was chasing their cat, or
So it's
getting in there.
So the word responsibility again. A lot of other people do it, so it's okay to do it. A lot of people take drugs, it's okay to do drugs. A lot of people abuse their spouses or their children, so it's okay. Yes, there are a lot of people that break the law. There are a lot of shitty people out there, but you don't copy it because you're not an idiot. You're supposed to have the ability to think and make choices, unless you don't. In which case, why should anybody trust you with children? If you can't give your children limits, and that's a very dangerous pattern, and it seems like you have not been brought up in a family that gives limits in a non-violent way.
Trash or trash cans. And it happens a lot.
Happens a lot.
That's something I would
Right.
never do. If there's a
Okay.
dog on my property, I'm going to chase it off unless it tries to bite me. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to protect myself. I'm going to
Uh-huh.
protect my family too.
Wow, that dog really looked like it was so small. I don't even understand. I mean, look at his dog is this size. Is the size of this dog. So he's going to protect his family from a dog like that.
And, I regret it, but sometimes that's the way it works. I wish it hadn't have had to happen that way.
Yeah.
Then this is gonna be hard for me to talk about.
Was there a need for you to expose your bosoms as you speak? It's like I didn't get how that contributes to your people actually believing what you have to say, because it looks to me a little bit odd choice of clothing. And now the tears come. Okay.
Then on May 10th, 2019, CPS took my children away. First, I started with Kaiser. Try not to cry and makeup on.
Yeah, makeup on. Try not to cry. It doesn't look like you're really trying not to cry. I've seen her videos, and this woman cries like you open a faucet. And the fact that her children were taken away, it's like, out of the blue, I'm a great mom. I don't know. Well, she participated in a show called Teen Mom, where she has been filmed screaming at her mother begging her not to take drugs, choosing men that are abusive, addicts, the combination. And now she found this prince. She has a pattern of always finding men that are abusive and not really good to have around kids. So why is she surprised? But is it her responsibility? So she denies. I mean, there's documented films about her life since she was 16 years old, taking drugs, being irresponsible, choosing bad men. And I feel for her because, she's suffering. The kids are suffering. Everyone is suffering except the idiots that she marries, because while this idiot can say, "Oh, I feel bad, I regret it," but he says that's the way it's done. So, they saying one thing and they contradicted. He says that's the way it should be done, and then he says I regret it. So why do you regret something if that's the way it should be done? And if you're such a great mom, why did they take your kids away? Let's hear more.
Part of this. Sorry, every time I bring up this EPS situation, just reliving what I had to go through.
What I had to go through. Narcissistic personality disorder, addiction.